Typography isn't just about letters on a page. It is about personality, emotion, and identity. It is how a wedding invite whispers elegance, while a bold sans serif on a billboard, it shouts confidence. It is the voice behind every single message, whether it is calm, playful, or serious. Today we're diving into typography, arguably the most powerful element of graphic design, and how we as graphic designers use it as a tool to shape how people feel and respond, and also how you can use it to level up your creative work. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Candace Bobchek. I'm a graphic designer with a passion for art, and I come on this channel every single week and share tips and tricks with you so you can live your best creative life. And today's star of the show, typography. Typography is arguably the backbone of graphic design. Out of all the graphic design elements, typography is the one that directly engages with the audience. Before people notice your colors or composition, most likely they are reading. So let's start with the basics. What is typography? Typography is the art and technique of arranging type. Sounds pretty simple, right? But no, actually there's a whole world of psychology and design decisions going behind it. For example, a single letter is already design. Think about the letter G. There is a circular bowl with a crossbar and a little spur. These aren't random. The letter G is made up of geometric and organic shapes that come together and make a recognizable symbol. Now let's multiply that across the entire alphabet. And suddenly, you have a typeface, a family of letter forms that are made to feel cohesive. What makes typography so magical is these letter forms, they are not just cohesive, they are expressive. Typography isn't just about communicating words. Equally as important is communicating how those words feel. Every typeface has what we call the anatomy of type. This is where design gets nerdy and fun. For example, the ascender is part of a lowercase letter that stretches above the X height, like the tall stem of a lowercase h, where the descender is the opposite. It dips below the baseline, like, for instance, a lowercase y. The bowl is that rounded part of letters like O or G, and the spine is that curving line, like in an S. And these tiny details, they change the entire personality of a font. A rounded terminal feels friendly and approachable, where a sharp terminal, it feels more bold and dramatic. The best analogy I heard is this. Typefaces are like voices. Some are deep and formal, while others are conversational and casual. Some are even playful and quirky. And just like voices, they all carry a mood. And here's the thing, without even realizing it, people judge typefaces subconsciously. For example, if you're designing something like a financial report, you probably want to use a clean serif font like Garamond or Times. It automatically gives you a sense of tradition, trust, and stability. Switch that out for Comic Sans, and then it would feel more like a joke. Even the numbers wouldn't feel serious. And script fonts, on the other hand, feel more personal, like someone took the time to handwrite a message. That is why wedding invitations and greeting cards, they kind of lean off of them. They spark things like intimacy and warmth. And let's not forget about readability. A brand could have the coolest typeface ever, but if no one could read the message, then the point is kind of lost. Good typography balances the function of communication and how the message is received. Typography hasn't always been as accessible as it is today. Back in the 1400s, typefaces were carved into wooden blocks or cast into lead in a printing press. The first typefaces were simple, practical, and legible, and made to last through repeated pressing. Then came design movements that reshaped typography, like my favorite, the Bauhaus movement that happened in the 1920s. They pushed for simplicity of geometric forms. In the 1960s, psychedelic posters exploded with hand-drawn lettering that was more about art than legibility. And then now, during the digital age, we have tens of thousands of typefaces all at our fingertips. Some are functional, some are expressive, but all of them are rooted in the same principle. Typefaces are always designed with a purpose in mind. Let's break down some of the categories of typefaces that you will definitely run into. First up, we have serif typefaces. These have those little feet or extensions at the ends of the letters. Think of typefaces like Times New Roman. They feel traditional, credible, and bookish, perfect for long reads and formal documents. And then next up, we have sans serif, literally without serifs. These are clean, modern, and minimal. The top dog in this category is Helvetica. Sans serifs dominate tech, branding, and websites because they are so clear. And next up, we have slab serif. These have serifs, but they're chunky and bold. The typeface Rockwell is a great example of that. They feel strong, confident, and assertive. Next up, we have script, cursive, calligraphic, or handwriting style fonts. They feel human and personal and sometimes luxurious. And then next up, we have black letter, those medieval Gothic style letters. They scream history, drama, or metal band vibes. And then finally, we have decorative or display. These are wild cards. They are designed purely for impact. They are great in small doses. They are usually used for posters or headlines. One pro tip I have for you. Think of typefaces as actors. Would you cast a Shakespearean actor in a slapstick comedy? Probably not. It would feel very much out of place. Fonts are kind of the same. You choose them based on the role that you want them to play. Now let's talk about function. Functional typography is all about clarity first and style second. But even within clarity, there is so much room for creativity. You can lay out your typography in a simple justified block. It feels traditional, like a newspaper or an old book. Clean, calm, and structured. Or you could use things like columns with contrast. Split text into multiple columns, increase the size of the headers, and use capital letters for emphasis. This feels dynamic while staying legible. You could play with the contrast of weight and size. If you use bold headers with a lighter body of text, this creates a clear sense of hierarchy. Negative space frames the type so that the eye knows exactly where to look. A bold decorative font for the title with supporting messages in clean all caps. It feels assertive, perfect for magazines or ads. Or you could go for a classy serif layout. Think about high-end magazines. Large serifed headers paired with small body text aligned creatively. It could feel sophisticated, like the design itself is wearing a tailored suit. All of these use type to support the message, not distract from it. And next up, we have the fun side of it, typography as art. Sometimes typography isn't just about reading, it's more about seeing. In some experimental posters, typography is laid out into shapes, like a face or an object, and it becomes more about illustration. Or there's designers out there who play around with 3D typography. 3D generated type, it takes the words off the page and gives them depth, shadow, and even texture. And suddenly the words, they feel more like a physical object. And there's other designers out there who push legibility to its limits. They use typography to create an overall texture. And with these, you feel the letters more than you read them. This is typography at its most expressive state. It is less about conveying information and more about creating a visual mood statement. And while you wouldn't use this for, let's just say, a subway map, it is incredibly powerful for advertising and sometimes branding when you want to make an emotional splash. Okay, let's wrap up this whole segment with some practical tips. Tip number 1, don't just pick a font because you like it. Pick it because it serves the purpose of the audience. Tip number 2 is pair fonts thoughtfully. An example of this would be pairing a serif font with a bold sans serif headline. It creates a nice balance, and contrast is definitely your friend here. Tip number 3, use decorative fonts sparingly. Think of them like hot sauce. You don't want to douse your entire dish in it. A little bit goes a really long way. And the next tip I have for you is always test your design at different sizes. What looks good on a poster might look terribly wrong on an Instagram post. And my final tip for you is consistency is key. Don't use like 5 different fonts on one page. Pick 2 or 3 max, and let hierarchy and weight do the rest. Typography is so much more than just choosing fonts on a drop-down menu. It is voice, it is history, it is psychology, all mashed up into one. And once you start paying attention to it, then you see it everywhere. Every sign, every ad, every menu. Someone chose that to try and speak to you. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. If you found this little breakdown helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. And feel free to share this video with your fellow creatives. I would love to know in the comments, what's your go-to typeface right now? Until next time, keep designing, keep experimenting. That's all I have for you for now. Bye-bye. Whew.